Camilla says you can use this as a spear. We're going to see if we can. Hi everyone, I'm Mike and welcome back to the channel. And as you can hear, we got some snow geese overhead. But today, guys, I'm going to see if I can use this as a spear. And I'm going to go inside where I can put this on a table and show you my ways of how I can connect this to this. There were several ways I did when I was a kid. I even looked up one way. Never thought of it before, but I'm hoping it will work well. Basically, I'm just going to tie this to this, and then I'm going to test it. I'm going to just test it on ordinary things I got around here. I've got some, I think I got a 2-liter bottle. I'll test it on some boxes, and I'll test it on some chunks of wood. I may even throw it a couple times, or I'll, you know, see if I can get it stuck in the mud. But I'm going to see what it'd be useful for, see how good it works, and see if that point stays safe and pretty like it is right now. Here are the things I'm going to use, guys, for this. I'm going to use the regular stick, which is an old broom handle, which I showed you earlier. Some extra paracord that I have. And of course, we're testing out the small accessory knife. I'm going to show you how to do this 3 ways using this stick. But guys, there are numerous ways you can do this. This is just to test this little knife out to see if it actually does what they said it'll do. If it acts like a good little spear, we'll see. But the 3 ways I'm going to show you is how to do it on this. And this is how I've always done this. Even when I was a kid, we used to play around with things and make spears out of. Usually it was this old pocket knives, but I'm going to show you how I wrap it. It's just a simple way, but I thought, you know, I might as well record this and show it. There are many ways to do this. I'm just going to show you my way. It's pretty cut and dry, but for me, because of my hands, it's kind of cumbersome, but we'll go through it. Okay, so here's our knife. We're going to put it at the end of the stick. Remember, guys, this is how I do it. Take your time. It's not a big deal. If you get frustrated and it messes up, start over again. I've done it more times than I can count in the past where the rope won't go the way I want it, and of course, it frustrates me. But I usually take my hand there, then I make my loop like this. Okay, I made my loop. Doesn't matter how big the loop is. Hold on to it, and then I start wrapping it, starting at the bottom. Doesn't matter, guys, if the string moves. Oh, I even hit the camera. Look at that. Doesn't matter. I got that started a little bit at the bottom. Now I'm going to start working my way up while I'm holding it, just like that. Try to keep that loop in its spot. I'm sure other guys can do this blindfolded, but I don't do it that often. Once in a blue moon, but I wanted to do this with this little knife because they said you could use it as a spear. And I thought, you know what? Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show other people how I do it. And as I've gotten up there, I still have my loop at the top, and there's my string at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is at the top, when I get this done, I'm going to take my string through this, and you can tie it if you want, some people do, and you can pull the knot behind that. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to use a paracord again, but I'm going to show you what you do. So as you're going up, you're just pulling on this, keeping it taut and tight, and as I'm doing it, I can feel the knife getting tighter to the stick, and you'd have to do it a couple times to know what it feels like, but see, now it's solid. I can barely move it that way, and I haven't tied the knot yet. And as far as going back and forth, it's snug. And then what you do is you get to the top, take your string through the loop, just like that. You can tie this and make a knot and pull it under. Remember, I'm not going to do that just because I'm going to use the cord again. So I've taken it around, I've got it. Now, I'm going to take this string right here, the one I left sticking out, and I'm going to pull that top thread behind all that, locking it under, just like that. And then, you know, if it was, you know, survival or anything like that, then I'm just going to make a knot. Something simple I can just get undone for the video. Now that's pretty basic, but it's in there. I can't pull it either direction this way. It has a little wobble because it's not covered down here all the way, but if you wanted to, you could add some extra. But we're just going to test it out. So this is method 1 of attaching something like that to the outside of the stick, but you know, this is just for fun. I'm going to show you the two other ways and we'll go from there. You take your stick and you start the split at the top of it. Sometimes if you don't have a saw, just use your knife and start the split. See, I used a saw to start it, but what you do is you make your split and you take your knife. Well, of course we're taking this, we're going to test it, and then you place it in between your split. Just like that. And now that it's inside the split, I'm going to do the exact same method, tying it up. Here it is. I'm about to pull that through. Now it's behind it. The exact same thing, tie it off. Remember, that would have been a knot behind it, but I'm not going to do that because I want to use it. And then you would just tie it off. I'm using a simple knot. And you're stuck with the same thing, really tight. This doesn't come off, and your knot is putting the pressure to push between it. Well, to hold the knife between it. It's all about, the technique's the same. Filming is a little awkward, but it does the exact same thing. But I like this method, and especially the other method of either the knife being inside the stick, or whatever you're using, or on the side of it, which is a different way than the first way. And then I'm pulling it, it's not coming out. So there's less of a wobble when these are squeezed really, really tight. Now this third method, I wish I'd known when I was a kid, because this is absolutely the best method, and I'll show you why. Whether using a stick or a pole, I took the split that you guys saw, cut it off, but when you do that, it leaves you with a nice flat surface for your blade. And when I put the blade on here and I do tie it on, it's not going to rotate now like it did on a round stick, like that. The knot will keep it where it's at. That's the third way. So let me wrap this up, show you what it looks like when I'm done. And I guess if you were making this, you know, if it was down to survival, you would take your knife and make this perfectly flat for your blade. Right now it's just okay for what I'm going to do, and you know, this is not a survival this is not a survival instruction in any matter. I'm just showing you guys how I'm going to do it to test this blade to use as a spear, like they said you could use. I just noticed too. Sorry guys, my fingernails got some grease in them. I was working on the vehicles yesterday. So now it's tied up, and I am behind it. Now with this over, I think I want up one too tall. There we go. There we go, guys. Check that out. It's not pretty, but wow, that is in there tighter than all of them. So we're going to go test this out and see if we can use that as a spear. All right, let's give a box test. Point's still okay. Let's try another box. I think this thing would be good for fishing. So as a spear, it does work. Alright guys, my last footage didn't shoot, so I'm going to try it a whole bunch more times, but I tied it again really well, and I've been using it. The point I've been using in wood, like this. I made like 20 pops in it, and it works really good. Let's see how I can throw it at it again from like 5 feet away. One more time. So yeah, you can use her as a spear. Well, guys, that was fun. Talk about feeling like a kid again. That was a lot of fun. What pisses me off is I recorded for like 5 minutes of me stabbing that log and poking some other things, but for some reason it didn't record. But I got it nice and muddy, tested it really well. I hit the point as many times as I could on that hard log just to test it. Did well. So yes, you can use this as a spear, especially if you want to have some fun. This little extra bonus carving fillet knife that Camillus offers in their Carnivore. It's durable, and I think it'll hold up to whatever you might need to use it for. But I got to tell you, it was a lot of fun. And what I think this thing would be perfect for, if you wanted to use it as a spear, as something like this or a stick, this thing would be good as a fishing spear. Because of these little gut hooks here, every time I poked it into something that I could get the blade into, it actually pulled it back. I mean, the blade is pointy enough, it was pulling back the log, but when I was able to get that blade into the 2-liter bottle and the boxes and even the ground, every time I pulled it out, it would pull chunks of mud and everything. I could really see you getting this into a fish and then just getting that much into a fish and being able to pull it right out of the water. Of course, not in the ocean, maybe a pond or a creek, but it would work for that. So it worked really well. Yes, you can use it as a spear, and go have some fun out there, guys. Hey, I had to put this one up. You know it was coming. Thanks again. I'll talk to you real soon. It's getting windy out here. I got to head in. Bye for now.